Hello, friends, and welcome to the only show in the world titled Talking with Famous People that hasn't talked with any famous people. I guess, although I didn't intend it as such, apparently I was being ironic. And you know how much I hate irony. Wait a second. Was I just being ironic again? Hi, Nicola Haristov.
Hello.
Oh, look what I'm going to do. This is going to be super impressive. I thought I was expecting you to just go straight onto us.
Travel with Marriott Boney.
And I'll just see how precious that is. I'm glad I didn't say that because I would have been wrong.
There we go.
So, as you can see, we're still in this place with this fresco of a dog behind us. Now I see it's a fresco of a dog, maybe.
Frisco dog.
See that part is its bushy tail. And that part, sorry,
Oh.
is his ear. And that dark spot is his eye. Looks like kind of a collie. Border collie. Thank you, Nicola Haristov.
A border collie. Yeah.
Anyhow, stay golden, Boney koi. You're the goldenest koi in the pond.
Hi, Jeremiah Fix.
And in fact, it is your very boniness, more than anything else, that preserves you from being human food. You've got too many bones. That makes you difficult to eat, difficult to prepare. It's like impossible to butterfly a carp, of which a koi really is. Koi are just pretty carps.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's not really any species difference between them. Hi, Jeremiah Fix. You know what I'm hoping? I hope one day you'll finally be done fixing whatever it is you're fixing. Then you can change your name to Jeremiah Fixed. And once you've changed your name to Jeremiah Fixed, you can tell people because you've had your bowls chopped off like a dog. And then you can reassure them, don't worry, not like a tranny thing. It was just so I would stop humping people's legs. Which is in fact kind of important. You know? If you have that hobby of humping people's legs when they come into your house, It's pretty important to stop doing that.
Yeah.
Guests won't come over anymore if you walk in the door, start humping their leg. Because they'll tell other people, oh no, don't accept his invitation over to his house. He's a leg humper. I've encountered those dogs before, who when you walk in their house, they run up to you and they start humping your leg.
Oh, wow. That's intense right away.
Well, the one that knocked for me, the one I remember was like this big dog.
Oh.
So I was just like, what is this dog doing to me? As a kid.
Oh.
And then, as we were saying. Yeah. Toby? Whatever the dog's name was. Stop it. Knock it off. Get off of that boy. And I was no, it's a quote from The Outsiders.
Yeah.
Stay golden, Tony boy.
Yeah.
I just changed it because I'm an Edom. What type is most likely to do a greet and hump? ESFPs. Charlie, who I just talked to on the phone, is an ESFP, and he and his mother both independently told me stories of his puss sledge as they went on the cruise. He like bound like 3 different chicks on this cruise that he went on with his family. I had to explain to him. I said, Charlie, because there's this girl he met, and she wants to fly him to Michigan, and she'd be a great girlfriend. I said, oh, that's wonderful, Charlie. Just one thing you need to remember. You are a terrible boyfriend because you love pussy. And you will end up humping other people besides just this wonderful girl. I'm like, well, that's probably true. He's a very handsome young man. He was in the Marines for a while until they reached like a settled exit of some sort because he refused to be vaccinated for COVID. Good for him. Not that there's anything wrong with being vaccinated with COVID. I mean, there's a difference between being heterosexual and loving pussy, okay? There's a big difference. It's like, I'm heterosexual, and I do like to have sexual intercourse with Rachel. But first I sterilize and sanitize everything, you know? Me and her alike. That's a person who's heterosexual, but does not love pussy, right? But I've been like that with every partner too. It speaks nothing at all of Rachel. I'm sure Charlie will, Charlie would be just fine helping some girl who just finished exercising or something. Yeah. He's what you call a slayer. I'm what you call a layer. Because I like to lay myself down on the bed and talk to people about things. Big difference. Yeah.
I like that.
Going out and trying to slay some puss. It just sounds like an incredibly difficult job that I'm totally unprepared for.
Mm.
You know, like, oh no. Oh, I hate this. Yeah. No, you have to be mind-bogglingly anti-polar to call me a puss slayer. I haven't been completely womanless throughout my life, obviously. But I'm as close to an incel who gets laid as there can possibly be. You know, I'm an incel who gets laid. That's the opposite of a puss slayer.
An incel who gets laid.
Yeah.
What's incel again?
Involuntarily celibate.
Oh.
That's what makes it funny. Oh, poor ISTJ women. Well, poor ISTJ men, too, I guess, in some sense. Like, I'm not sure that Cameron's girlfriend is nice enough to him. I'm a lot less judgy than I was before visiting Corey and Liz's house the other day. I'll tell you that. But, I think she should be nicer to him, personally.
I do too.
Because he's such a wonderful man. But regardless, the poor ISTJ women, it's like, hey, how'd you like some emasculation with bad social skills? How about not? She'd be better than me at everything men are supposed to do. You know?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty emasculating. At least for people who care about stuff. I'm unemasculatable right now, but that's only because I'm with Rachel. And she would never do that. If I weren't with Rachel and had her protective coating surrounding me, I'd be returned to being wholly emasculatable. Right, no, they don't have it. It's involuntarily forced on them by women. They don't have a quality of being repulsive. They're wonderful, delightful people that anyone would love to date. Unfortunately, women have involuntarily forced them to not be attracted to women on purpose because they hate them so much. That's the true story. I forgot. It's cold now.
I know. I know.
We're in
Should
the
we
cold
change
times.
the?
No, we're in the cold times. So I just have to just stay here in the cold times.
Stay here in the cold times.
The cold times won't last forever. What's a bony koi? Well, it's redundant. All koi are bony. And no koi is more bony than any other, really. Because how many bones you have is part of your genome, you know. And is the phenotypic expression of your genome. And species are species because they all have the same genome.
Allison's mom.
But I guess it's not necessarily redundant. Like, let's say somebody's asking you, you got a fish? Did you catch an eatable one? You might reply, no, it's just a bony koi. In order to highlight the thing making it uneatable is its boniness. Rather than saying, no, it's a giant potato bug. In which case, the thing making it uneatable would be its grossness.
No.
So it's not necessarily redundant to call a koi bony. It's contextually dependent as to whether it's redundant or not. In my instance, it's definitely redundant because it's like, not only redundant but wrong. Because it's like I'm saying, you're an especially bony koi, but all kois are equally bony. Because as I've already indicated, how many bones you have is dictated by your genome. Unless you're at, I mean, I guess it could be a genetically abnormal koi I'm talking about. That has more bones. Could be. Nah, maybe I wasn't quite as wrong as I thought. But fact is, I wasn't thinking about any of that. So I'm still wrong. I would have to research that, but our Lilith is our unexplored sexuality. Lilith was Adam's first wife, represents our sexual fantasy. So Adam's sexual fantasy was to fuck Fraser Crane's brother's wife? That woman, while not unattractive, was very severe.
Severe is a good way of describing her.
Do you remember her?
Now I do, yes.
Lilith. She had black hair and she was very severe. She was like a school mom.
Wasn't for a while in the show she was mentioned, but like not seen?
I think you're right about that. And then all of a sudden she became like a major character.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I totally forgot about that. It's like there was this build up so you're gonna see Lil.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then not only do you just see her, but Niles, that was his name.
Niles, yeah.
Niles Crane.
Cause he was like nervous about Lilith.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of jokes about like, you know, those kind of Andy Cap style jokes. Do you remember the cartoon Andy Cap?
No.
Its basic concept was this husband and wife hate each other so much, but are still married. And it would just be a procession of them saying shitty things to each other. Or Andy Cap chasing around his wife with like a pan or something. I don't remember exactly. But he was trying to hit her.
Oh.
What is an objectively excellent song? Back in the USSR is the first thing that came to mind. It's like the last thing I was like, how can you not like that song? It doesn't mean it's the most objectively excellent song, it's just the first thing that came to mind. It's an SI type. You know, when people say, like, trust your first instinct, the first thing that comes to mind, that's only true for NI types. For SI types, the first thing that's going to come to mind is the most recent relevant example. Isn't that a little interesting factoid?
That is. That's cool, Winston's mom.
However, there are no types that are likely to snap over small things and make threats. There are people under a shit ton of stress. They're like that. And there are severely damaged and broken people who are always like that. That has nothing to do with personality type. Like, which types are most likely to be murderers? Fucked up people. That's the best typological answer you can give, you know?
Yeah.
It's not typological. Fucked up people are the most likely type to do fucked up things. I mean, I don't know, and that information won't do you any good. It's not like you can change. I mean, I guess this is the good. What you're trying to do is possibly you're trying to say, was I wrong about this person's type? Well, yes, absolutely, even if you were right, because you thought that you could type them instead of me. You can't type people for shit. I don't care how good you are if you're not me, because it's hard. It's not easy to type people correctly.
It's not.
It's really challenging. It's like, don't go playing around with nuclear physics unless you really know what you're doing. Because once you get a wrong thing, and you start basing all kinds of other shit on it, it's a terrible idea.
That's what I did. That's what happened with me.
And she got typed by me, and it still happened to her.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like, it's dangerous business. Don't go fucking around typing people yourself if you don't know what you're doing. In other words, if you're not me. Of course. Of course I left my jacket in the car. So I had all of my jackets in the car, except this wet one. It's not that wet. And to be perfectly honest, my problem didn't even get it real, of course. You just gotta pretend, of course. I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette.
Okay.
Oh, well, I mean, people who claim they're INTPs are 99.9% of the time ESFPs or some other type of not, or ISTJs. ESFPs and ISTJs seem to be the types that like to mistype themselves. I've seen a few ISFPs. No, actually I was an ESFP who didn't want to be told that she was an ESFP. Insisted she was an ISFP very loudly and extrovertedly for a very long time.
It's true.
Okay, I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette now. The question of whether Rachel can hold down the fort is not as unnecessary to ask as usual because not only did she eat a couple mushrooms, but I think I talked her into eating a couple more for some reason on the grounds that if you are going to eat more, you should eat them now. Yeah. Which is then me being dumb again. I keep forgetting about you and.
I took babies.
Okay. I still cold. I'll be right back.
I feel cold, that's why I'm under the blankets.
Is this not working or what? I turned it up to 74 degrees. No, work.
Yeah.
You're a scoundrel.
Ivar says she could be BPD, I'm not sure. She has been a stay-at-home mom for around 10 years. She worked on a book for a while, for a little bit, a fantasy story, but she gave up on it, and also makes bracelets but gave up. Mrs. Mom asks, what curly thing did you do today? I put a mask on my hair for an hour and it feels soft now. I love that. Hair masks really can do some work. Okay.
Oh, I forgot my key.
Oh, you can't go anywhere.
Yeah, it's in a normal hotel. I just say, well, I'll just knock when I get back, right?
Yeah.
But you can't get in and out of the doors, you can't get out of the elevator, you can't do anything without the key.
No, you don't.
Unless Rachel knows where her key is, I've lost that one already.
Oh. I do know. I have mine.
I bet it's underneath this thing. And I lose.
That's what, really?
I lose my bet.
Oh, you lose your bet. Okay. Here we go.
You need to work faster, for fuck's sake. It is freezing cold in here.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you. I'll try not to lose this one. I'm sure I'll find it. Besides which, I had to pee before I got to
Oh.
anyway, so it's just as well.
Jeremiah fix a hair mask is like deep conditioner.
How you peel that off?
Oh, true. Tiffany asked a really good question. How do you peel it off? Hey, Ivar, I am doing well. Thanks for asking.
Would your eyes sound like you're getting all stuck in your hair?
Ah. You're welcome.
That's why boys don't have face masks.
Oh, Carlos Paiva says that, and also people don't recognize your hair. That's where you wear a hair mask.
Oh, well, sure. I mean, wanting to disguise your hair from people makes good sense.
Yeah, it does.
Well, what I was saying is the reason boys don't wear face masks to exfoliate is because it gets caught in their beards. But everybody except bald people have hair. This person must be bald. That's the answer.
That's the answer.
That's why they have a hair mask. Because they have no hair.
Is that, Carlos asks, is that your voice mask?
Well, that's how I talk, motherfucker. You're not careful. I might find you.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, all your faces belong to me. That's not me talking, by the way, just in case you mistakenly believe that. It's an understandable mistake to make. Tiffany owns me so much, she can literally decide at her will when she wants to take over my voice ability. And sometimes does.
Wow.
And that's what happens when you get found by Tiffany, so you better watch out. Once she finds you, she owns you. Well, at least she keeps you. After all, the game she's playing isn't finders owners, it's finders keepers.
It is finders keepers.
Okay, now. Two most important things. Three. Let me see if I have the four. Four.
Romy Ferret had a mask, says Winston's mom. I confess that I wanted all my ferrets to have a mask, but only he did. So why did only he had a mask? Take the mask. Was the other ferrets not really like loving it?
Oh, it was just extremely oily. You should see his pores. They were enormous. I'll be back.
Okay. Yeah, Jeremiah fix. Tiffany is skipping the legwork, going straight to the conquering. She really is. Really is like chilly in here, which is surprising. Like the air that's coming out it feels cool. I don't know if it takes a little while to heat up. What's an Angora ferret? What makes them? I didn't know that there were different kinds of ferrets. Jeremiah Fix says, here in Florida, our warm front is slowly fading back to winter. Yeah, I heard that it's like 30 something. That's nice of Winston's mom. My ferrets were rescues at Rachel's, so I took whoever came home to me. Angora ferrets are super floofy, big floofy hair, unlike the sleek American ferrets. Ah, interesting. Interesting. I've never seen it. Angora sounds like a, oh my gosh, it sounds like a type of like clothing or jacket. Like I know anorak. That's kind of coat. Yeah, Jeremiah Fix. Global warming, a very unfortunate name and marketing strategy. Yeah, really. I have been watching so many videos about trends like in fashion for 2023, and I can't get any consistency or anything that I would wear. Like I feel like I'm watching these videos and I'm like, all these trends, like for instance, red and pink combination is going to be big for 2023. Leather, an item of leather, or someone said that all leather is a look for 2023. I don't know. It's so expensive. Like, oh yeah, sequins, anything with like bedazzled look. Jeremiah Fix, apparently it's in. Oh yeah, and Y2K is here to stay also. I tend to stick to black. I go gray too if I want to have a neutral. But like there's this one woman who like, hey Chris Chapin. She said that velvet is going to be very big too. It's like she looks very put together and very like I guess fashion conscious, but there's like, it didn't look comfy or like made for everyone, you know what I mean? Like, her outfit was not made for everyone. Thanks, Winston's mom. Yeah, her velvet leather jackets. Yeah, it's all fancy. It's like luxe looks, because like it's velvet is popular, going to be popular in 2023, leather in 2023, and sparkles are going to be big in 2023. I'm like, those are like extremely like lush looks. Like, I'm not looking to I'm not looking to be lush in my look. I'm looking to have something that like fits my body.
Okay.
I know it doesn't it feel
broken?
cold?
Is this broken or what? It's colder in here than
Yeah.
it was
And it
downstairs.
was. That's crazy.
Oh my goodness. It's like there's no way to change from heater to air conditioner.
Right.
So, I mean, it says 75, it doesn't feel 75.
It doesn't. No, that's what I was saying to the stream too. It's like it feels like cold air is coming out of it.
I don't even feel any air coming out of it. Maybe that's the problem, it's just not working at all. Let's turn off. We'll hear a difference, but if there is any air coming out of there, it's very little air. That's on low blow, but it's still not really blowing any air. This is one of those horrible problems where the cure is just as bad as the disease. It's a toss-up. It's not like they're going to be able to Fonzie this, you know.
I know.
Which means if in fact the heater's broken, we've only got two choices, both of them terrible. Deal with it or change rooms.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not really feeling like changing rooms at the moment.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I guess I'm not feeling much like changing rooms.
Rooms,
at
I
the moment.
know. Me neither.
We just got slammed by tons of rain. For instance, Mom. Is it the worst part of this whole thing is that the cat's got to deal with this
Yeah.
storm, which is really timed poorly for them, you know. I go over there at least twice a day, but Trouble's furious. I go over there and I know I'm in for a real meow lashing. He meows at me so hard. Oh. I know, man. I know, but there's nothing I can do about it without you potentially costing me tens of thousands of dollars.
That's the thing. He already proved what he could do.
Yeah, we let you in the house and you took a big ass dump right on the middle of the bed. And I can't blame you for doing that. That's a good way of expressing what I'm clearly not getting from your meows, you know. The problem is, buddy, I am choosing to do this to you instead of losing tens of thousands of dollars. And I don't feel bad about it, really. I just feel bad for you, but I would make the same choice every single time. So you wanna talk about a text that'll cheer me up in a second, though. From being bummed out. How about this text? Who doesn't want to get this text? Well, I mean, people who don't have glasses don't really like any text, but Eric, once he has his glasses on, likes his text. This is a text that would cheer anybody up. On another busy day here. This is from, I think, yesterday. Is it the 5th or the 6th?
Okay.
This is from today. Another very busy day here. Been here since 9 a.m. We had 7 to 8 showings scheduled, and that was, since I was going to be here all day anyway, so I put it on the computer as an open house, and we had approximately 20 groups come through. I am certain we will have multiple offers by Monday at 5 p.m., and it is very likely we will hit our asking price, if not above. We're off to a great start. I appreciate all your time, cooperation, time, and money. I appreciate all your cooperation, time, and money invested to get the home ready to sell. It certainly appears that it will all pay off very soon. I'm leaving shortly. We'll be back later for another showing. I'll let you know when I'm done here for the day. Thanks. CVS, I want you to learn how to send me texts from my realtor. Okay? I want you to take lessons on text sending Eric from him. That text makes me happy. CVS texts 80% of the time make me mad. And among all the texts they send me telling me that they once again don't have my drugs, then they have this time they didn't even text me that they received the prescription. So they're trying to avoid me going down there and yelling at them, I guess. But they send me a text saying, it's time for your yearly flu shot. I never get a flu shot. I never will get a flu shot. And how dare you text me anything other than my drugs are here?
Yeah.
Well, this month the pharmacy got smart. They decided to, probably because of me, they implemented a policy in which they're not lying to me anymore. So I just didn't even yell at them. I just said, okay, thanks. Let's check back in a couple of days. Walked away. See how easy it is when you don't tell me lies?
Yeah, super appreciated.
It's not appreciated. I don't appreciate their honesty. I hate their bad news. But I don't need to appreciate their honesty. I just need to hate their dishonesty. Which I do. And which they will pay for if they try it. I expect their honesty. I don't appreciate it. As any sane person would expect the people you're dealing with to tell you the truth and not lie to you. But you know what? In the day, anything that's making me feel mad right now at all I have to do is reread that text to myself.
That's good.
I mean, could anybody get a better text than that? I knew it was a good idea to list it at 115
Yeah.
rather than try to list it all high, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's why it was a good idea, but that doesn't really count. But I did pick the listing price. This time, they showed me a piece of paper, like, establishing that they're not receiving any of this drug, and they told me I'm on a wait list. The thing is, if they had told me that in the beginning, then I'd have no choice but to wait.
Yeah.
Well, that's the first month. It took them like a year to figure this out. Well, I got. We are totally out of ideas. Somebody says, "Hold on a second. I know it's not insane, but what if we tell them the truth?" And everyone's like, "No, no, we can't possibly do that. That's a terrible idea." It's never a terrible idea to tell me the truth. And it's always a terrible idea to lie to me. My realtor lied to us, clearly, when she told us that 1.07 was the most we were possibly going to get for this house. She lied to me. I knew she lied to me because I'm an SI type, so I knew there was no way she could know that without experiencing the listing. But even if I'd been an NI type, I would have said, "I don't trust your shitty NI because you got too much FI up in the mix influencing you to want that to be the case." Well, regardless, the point is, she lied to me. And she got in trouble. She got in big trouble. And these texts I'm getting are making me feel less and less bad about busting her ass. You know? Because it's like, in the best case scenario, it sounds like she was trying to cheat us out of $50,000, $80,000. In the worst case scenario, it could be as much as $100,000 or even more. We might get 1.17 for this. That's not an outrageous thought that might happen with all of these people going through the house, you know?
Yeah.
Makes me wonder why I'm so careful not to step on things when I'm there. We've had hordes of people going through the house all day. I bet you they didn't think about what they were stepping on very much. Maybe I should stop caring so much about what I'm stepping on when I'm there.
It's hard.
Well, I guess that's the difference between buyers and sellers, right? Sellers have to keep it all nice and tidy for the buyers. You see people in stores and take things off of one shelf and just put it someplace else.
Yeah, it's true.
We did that the other day. I hate that. I typically don't do that. But we were at Home Depot and I realized that, well, I got punished for this too. Oh my God. Because picture by accident. I put it somewhere other than where I got it from. And then I went home and proceeded to break all 3 things and failed to accomplish anything. But we didn't piss off God with the cutter thing. We accidentally didn't pay for this cutter thing. It was like $6 or something.
Oh yeah.
And I knew better than to piss off God and pretend like that was, too bad for them, score for me. That's gonna piss off God too much. So I just went back in there. I didn't even talk to anybody. I just went back in there with the object that I had just gotten out of their store with. Went through the self-checkout line and paid for it and walked out again.
Good for you.
I was too embarrassed to I thought I was like, yes, I don't have to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Because, like, basically, I don't want to admit I just stole this thing, even if I'm here to pay for it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't purposely steal it, but it was underneath that other stuff. I wonder how that would play in court. Like, not that it would ever get there, because the reason we would never have gotten busted, or that nobody would suspect us, is because we did successfully pay for like $120 worth of stuff or whatever, and then there's this one $6 thing that we didn't pay for, so nobody's gonna. Like, that's a terrible way to steal things, right? To spend $120 on stuff that you're going to break, only to steal, just for the purpose of stealing one $6 thing. That would be a dumb way to steal things. You wouldn't make any motion. I read that thing up there. You wouldn't make any money that way. It just be that you lose so much money as a thief. You'd have to rethink your strategy. The emotional tail wags the rational dog. That's a good quote. I mean, except it presumes too little of a rational, especially an intuitive rational. I'm fully aware that my emotional tail is driving me. That's why I'm constantly calling myself selfish, egocentric, and why I'm correctly describing myself as only instrumentally valuing TI and absolutely valuing FI. Dogs are unaware of those things, and non-intuitive rationals, specifically non-NTPs, can't even get the concept of being that good at understanding things. I mean, you see what we have to give up in order to get that good at understanding things. Basically have to give up all capacity to do things. You know.
With what?
Like, in order to understand things so well, our words cannot be trusted about what we're going to do at all. Even though our words can be completely trusted about what is correct and static and stuff like that. If you ask me, well, what are you going to do? I'm like, I'm just explaining things here. Where did doing come into the equation? least I'm not an INTP. They really can't do things. I have super unconscious. In order to do things, my doing function has to be my most unconscious function. Otherwise, I wouldn't do things. The only things I do are things that I remembered to do, or completely arbitrary things like doing drugs and eating and smoking cigarettes and stuff that I feel like doing right now. It's like that's the only doing that I would ever do if I'm saved by the fact that my doing function is so unconscious that it just does this shit on its own without even me realizing, oh, I'm doing something. That's why you can't trust my words about it at all. You cannot trust my words about what I'm going to do at all. There's nobody less trustworthy than me when it comes to saying what I'm going to do. And there is nobody more trustworthy than me in all other contexts.
Sure.
But there are certain things I know that I'm going to do because occasionally I know I want something really bad. You can count on that shit getting done. Especially if I want it really bad because I don't like something, you can count on that shit getting done fast. Right?
Yeah.
Because I do not like things I do not like to persist at all. So there's something you can count on 100%. I will marry this woman, and it's not because I said so. It's because I very much want to.
That's wonderful.
And you'll note, I don't really care if Rachel wants me to marry her or not.
I'm glad that you want to.
That's it. The point of doing things, Rachel. I see marrying as a thing that one does. As far as I'm concerned, right? We were already married. We've been married all the time. But I know that actually marrying you will make you happy. And I want to make you happy. I don't actually care at all about getting married. But I do care a lot about making you happy because if anybody in the entire world who deserves to be made happy and get whatever she wants, it's you. I'm going to go smoke a nice cigarette. And then I'll be back. This time I'm considering maybe. Oh, I'm not going to. Why are you lying to yourself again?
What?
You're not going to go to the car and get that jacket. You're just not going to do it. So just stop lying to yourself. Yeah, I'm trustworthy about what I'm going to do. I can't even trust myself to say whether I'm going to go to the car and get a jacket. Feelings for losers.
Hey, Boba Fett. Yeah, actually, we got good news today. So, Dean originally told us that he had, I think, 6 or 7 people who were interested in looking at the house today. But he decided to make it into an open house, which I think was a great idea. It's a really nice day today. No rain. So I think it's like a good day to show the house. And Dean feels very positive about selling the house. So it's good stuff. You know, it just when we met with Janet and she sat down with Eric, she like really did not think that the house was gonna sell because of the suicide on the property. And I think she sort of panicked, and that's why she offered to buy the house. But yeah. Dean's taken over, and he's done a wonderful job. Well, once his mom, Janet from the unethical planet, I wonder what her moon sign is. I have no idea what her moon sign would be. And apparently she wasn't being unethical. Apparently, from what we've learned from you guys, is that there are real estate agents who do offer to buy the house. I think it was even, someone said that, this is what I heard from somewhere, that certain realtors buy the home that they're intending to sell, and then they flip the house. Boba Fett says, okay. I was wondering if recent events may make buyers wary. I mean, the thing is that Dean asked Eric details about Eric's dad and the suicide, so that he can inform the buyers as much as possible about the recent events. And Dean is very good at being honest while also like authentic, and sometimes, you know, sometimes a buyer will appreciate that. Will be like, oh, okay, all right, a suicide's been on the property. We know the background. We're still interested. No, Boba Fett, you're totally right. I mean, I get worried that buyers will pull out as well. Like, I pulled for next month the Seven of Swords, which is like the deceit card. It's acting sneaky. It's a guy who has like 5 swords in his hand and 2 to his side, and he's sneaking away from the camp. And sometimes tarot card readers will say that you can actually like make that into a positive. Like there are times when, like for example, there are times when you should hold your tongue instead of stating your opinion, because it will keep the peace. So I'm hoping that everything goes on the up and up. You know, and Eric's, Jeffrey's mom was saying to us that we should be careful about trusting Dean too.
Yeah, but she has as good intuition as my dad.
No.
She has as good intuition as Janet.
Yeah.
It seems to be working.
It feels warm in here?
It feels kind of warm in here. It feels rather hot.
Okay. That's good.
So, it's definitely a lot warmer in here than last time I came in here. That is good, because this means that when tomorrow morning or tonight I go down there and tell them to extend their stay another 3 days. We're not gonna have to change rooms, hopefully.
Yeah.
4.5 hours for the fed. 4.5 if you leave at a good time of day. It could be infinitely long if you leave at the wrong time of day. You know, LA traffic's ridiculous. Last time we tried to come back into LA, I thought I had it timed right. It didn't fucking matter at all where you get traffic. From the moment we hit Thousand Oaks, we're coming in on the 101, you know. From Thousand Oaks to Arcadia, we had just like nothing but traffic. It was frustrating. I was like, how? But I timed it right. I didn't pull a Portland and forget all about big city traffic because I don't live there, so you know, it's never going to occur to me. I pulled to Los Angeles. I know all about Los Angeles. I know all the traffic patterns. How could this possibly be? We're getting this much traffic at this time of day, and there weren't even any accidents. That's why I fucking hate this place, in part. I hate traffic, and I hate the fact that everything you might want to do in Los Angeles is how far away it is a complete crapshoot. Because how far away it is, to me, is how long it's going to take to get there. And I'm somebody, maybe this is everybody, I'm not sure. I would rather drive 30 minutes in no traffic than 15 minutes in traffic. And so, you know, Los Angeles is constantly putting me in FITE mode when it comes to going places and doing things. And I'm constantly fucking up, like, for years, Rachel and I continually, day after day, picked the wrong time to leave the house.
Yeah.
Like 4:30. Well, that's because that's when we're finally ready to leave the house. Unfortunately, that is the worst possible time to leave the house.
Hey, show media. Looking good.
Los Angeles just kicks my shitty TE ass too much. I'm just done with all the requirements of it. Like, and it's not like there's nothing right around us really that we want to go do anything. All like all of the restaurants in Arcadia and all of the stores in Arcadia are like Young Dong Ching Wao Zhao. Like, I can't even understand what their store is. Let alone want to shop or eat there.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is. Sometimes they've got hilarious English translations underneath, like Master Wong's magical healing energy.
But a lot of times they don't. They don't even bother.
Usually they don't even bother.
Yeah.
Why? It's almost entirely Chinese people who do it.
Yeah.
Why would you bother? You know already if you've got like that place in Temple City. The Chinese doctor. The sign says she treats all difficult to treat or diagnose diseases.
That's so funny.
Like, how can that be your specialty? What are you? You know, again, who's that guy that people are always comparing me to? That's Dr. House.
Oh, House, yeah.
You're Dr. House, except instead of having actual medicine, you've got ground up rhinoceros.
Ground up rhinoceros.
You know what Chinese doctors do? They tell you something that I think is just like absolutely the worst thing you could ever tell me. We need to eat differently. No. No, I do not. Whatever my problem is not solved by I need to eat more spicy food and less meow food and also have a bowl of this bad tasting tea. Whatever my problem is, I guarantee you that's not gonna solve it. I mean, a whole culture is so idiotic that they think they can treat diseases by prescribing cottage cheese.
That's some magical thinking.
You can't treat illnesses by changing your diet, you morons. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Unless your illness is obesity, in which case the change to your diet is you need to eat less, not you need to eat spicy river bird nest soup or whatever. Oh, let's make soup out of these nests. It's disgusting, but it's exotic and special. Therefore, it also cures diseases. To cure diseases in China, you need to be hard to get food, taste disgusting. Those are your rules.
Yeah.
Then you become medicine. I'm surprised they don't prescribe psychedelic mushrooms all the time.
That's true.
They're hard to get food that tastes disgusting.
Yeah.
And unlike everything else they're prescribing, they actually do something to you.
Cottage cheese. That's a great.
They got cancer. Oh, here's some Newton's cottage cheese. This should do the trick. Boba Fett, you, unsurprisingly, and not one of our previous conversations, where I clearly articulated that all mushrooms are disgusting, and the only reason people ever ate them in the first place was because they were starving. That's perfectly good reason to eat mushrooms. You're starving, you know. It's only idiotic modern people who go, oh, this disgusting starvation food is good because it's fancy. It's not good. It may be fancy, but you've mistaken fancy for good. All mushrooms are things that people should not eat. They're fungus. Okay? I mean, who eats fungus? Crazy mushroom people, that's who. I mean, I eat more fungus than anybody I know, but I don't eat it because I think it tastes good. I'd have to be the most. My taste buds would have to be living in an insane town if I thought it tasted good. Although the mushrooms we ate today were unusually not awful tasting.
Yeah, they were unusually not awful tasting.
They still didn't taste good. I mean, don't get me wrong. And I want somebody to serve them as an appetizer, as per that show. It's like,
oh yeah,
unseasoned rat miscarriage.
Unseasoned rat miscarriage.
And he presents this disgusting looking thing. He's got all like sculpted with toothpicks and shit. I want that appetizer but with mushrooms. Here you go. Unseasoned disgustingness.
That's what it is.
Can I put sauce on it? No! You eat it as the chef intends. Okay?
So Emily had a question. What's the difference between ISFPs and ISFJs?
I mean, what's not the difference? They can hardly be any more different from each other. ISFJs like to tell you a lot of stories, but their FE has constrained them. So they tell you SI stories. They have sayings they say a lot. Remember that saying to my mom? Oh, thank God for little favors. For small favors. That's what my mom used to say all the time. Thank God for small favors. She was a strident atheist. Or she was really just go along with my dadist, I think, more than anything else. But
Yeah.
But SI DOMs in general and SI Tool are not very religious people. And like SI Tool ESTJ might go to church regularly. My dad certainly didn't. He went to the church of fuck you, Christians. He hated Christians. For some reason. Of all the people to hate, right?
I know.
He was raised one, you know,
Oh.
by a mother that he didn't respect at all. Like, he thought his mother was the stupidest person in the world. And he told us this all the time, how dumb she was. And I met her and I was like, before she died, I was like 6 or 7 years old. And I said, yeah, she's really dumb. This lady's really, she's like, she'd be playing with me. I was like 6 or 7 years old. And I'd be correcting her, like, no. those two numbers equal something other than what you think they equal.
That's so interesting.
But the thing is, as a consequence, my dad had zero respect for her. Because remember fifth slot TI? Means you can pass fail. His own mother failed that metric. It's like his own mother was Donald Trump to me. It was impossible for him to have any respect at all for anyone. He was the parent to his little sister because his dad left. And he didn't trust his mom at all with anything. He's a great take care of person. He's great at including people in things they didn't want to do. Well, you know, my Aunt Evelyn remembers it as he always was thoughtful of her and made sure she went along with him on his activities. Really, he didn't trust anybody else to do anything, including take care of his own sister. He didn't trust anybody else to do anything. Even basic things. Unless he hired them, at which point, oh boy, he just got hired by David Strauss. Oh God. You want to talk about somebody interfering with you doing your job. How often was he over there at sunrise? Let those people do their job.
Yes, that was so true about sunrise.
They don't need you. You can't buy them more things they need. Their whole business is to have all those things. You know, you cannot cure your wife's dementia. Will you get that through your head? Will you get that through your antipolar head? You can't fix this fucking problem. So you can throw as many cans of Ensure at it as you want. You can throw as many fucking boxes of wipes at it as you want. You cannot fix this problem. The antipolar moron, the smartest, dumbest man I've ever met. Just like his son. Right? Just like his son. The apple fell paradoxically so close to the tree and 1,000 miles away from it.
Yeah. Your mom always used to tell me, oh, he's so much like his dad.
Your mom told you?
No, your mom.
Oh, my mom told
In Lucid.
you that
Yeah.
I was so much like my dad.
Yeah.
That's fucking 8 slot in eye for you. She only just saw what she wanted to see.
Right, yeah.
That's all she wanted to see. 8 slot NI is great at that. They are fantastically intuitive when it suits their purpose. You know what's funny? Looking at this ball now, there is absolutely no dog there. It just happened to be that spot of the wall.
Yeah, that spot of the wall looks like it could be a dog, but I
could've
think
sworn that it was
I think it's
intentional.
mountains.
I thought it was purposely a dog. It looked so much like a dog, but now I look at the whole
In the
thing.
frame, sure.
When you look at the whole thing, it doesn't look anything like a dog.
Let's go! Woo! 2023.
Okay. There. It is so much the case you can't trust what I'm going to do that I am now going to put on this jacket and go get that other jacket from the car. Will I actually return from that car with that jacket? Is another question. And the only main reason I'm going to the car is not to get the jacket, of course. It's to pull bar grips. But that, as Rachel had discovered the other day, that's a great way to get us out of the house, to do something. We did not want to leave the house. We were humbled by the lack of a spoon. And I had the great idea, hey, why don't we get some gummies? Now, once that's been voiced, then neither Rachel or I will rest until that happens.
Yeah, it's true.
So that got that happen. And then I had the extra genius idea of, we're going to be disciplined, Rachel. We're going to go to Smart and Final before the wheat store. Because I lie to myself constantly about that kind of stuff. Like, we'll go to the wheat store, and then we'll go to Smart and Final. And what I really mean to say is, we'll go to this wheat store, and then I'll say, and we'll go home. That's what I really mean when I say, we'll go to the wheat store first, and then we'll go to Smart and Final. So I learn occasionally, like, this is the area, Eric, you cannot trust yourself. You just have to go to Smart and Final first. And we did.
Yeah.
And then we got to be part of the most ridiculously long line
Oh my gosh, that line was so long.
I've ever seen in a supermarket.
Only one
One
cashier.
check stand open. They have 4 of them. The line is so long, it renders the entire coffee aisle, coffee and assorted other things aisle, completely useless because it's all the way to the back of the store. It's crazy. We were at the back of the line though.
Yeah.
That was the good news.
I know, that was a good thing.
Oh, can I just say this? Fuck these things so much for constantly falling off every time I go.
No, every time.
Every time.
I know.
Usually falls back into the room somehow.
I know. I don't get it at all. Oh my gosh, it's so true. Oh my gosh. I was wondering if you noticed that too. I don't know about politics much. Is McCarthy related to the Kennedys? This one? It's carnelian. I got it from Free People. I am into gemology and birthstones. That's something that I'm interested in. This numerologist that I follow on YouTube said that carnelian is a good stone for life path 4. I'm a life path 4. So I was like, hey, I'll give it a shot. Opal is October, I believe. Pearl is I know May is emerald. Pearl is April? Oh, show media, look at that. Oh wow, that's crazy. I got carnelian this summer by chance. It spoke to me, and I'm a life path 4. That's pretty cool. It was speaking to you for a reason. You know, it's interesting you say that, Boba Fett. The sapphire is supposed to be a double-edged sword. I think will bring great fortune or misery. Apparently, so opal is supposed to be sort of a so there's a common myth, like old wives' tales, that it's bad luck to wear opal if it's not your birth month. My grandma told me that. I still liked opal anyway. I still like opal a lot. And there's just something about, like, you know, like the way the colors change. Is that iridescence? But I didn't know it was sapphire. Sapphire is really pretty too. I like sapphire. My birthday's in January, and January is garnet. And when I was little, I never liked it, but I do now. When I was little, I was like, oh, garnet, it's so like brown. But they actually have like different kinds and colors of garnet, so. You felt confident and happy. Stromita says, I feel confident and happy when I hold the carnelian in my hand. That's really great. It's supposed to be a rock of like self-starting and action. I believe the carnelian is ruled by Mars, I believe. But, you know, people make that stuff up. They say it's important when choosing stones that, well, show me, that's a good question, because a lot of gemologists say that you should pick up and hold the gem that you want to buy in your hand. If it resonates with you, you will have some sort of like feeling toward it. Pyrite, I was drawn to pyrite as a kid. They at this what do you call it? Oh man, I can't think. Shamini says, yeah, it wasn't only the gemstone, it was the shape and the texture of it as well. It felt right into the shade. Yeah, like all of that stuff. All of that stuff counts. You want to, like, just like tarot card, like, you want the gem to resonate with you. Like, I remember one time I was shopping for gemstones that were the color orange because I noticed in my collection that I didn't have many orange stones. So I picked 3 orange stones and my hand started feeling so hot and sweaty, and I never had a reaction like that before. But to me it was like a negative thing, like I was holding too much of that orange energy that I had to put it back. I put the stuff back. So it was like calling out to me, but it was like kind of like, you need to make a choice about these stones. I think I did choose one from those 3. There's also this affinity numerology where you can put in your birth information and type in like the gemstone and it'll show like its compatibility with your numbers. Rachel, in your past life in the 1500s, you lived in Portugal and sold precious gem stones and jewelry. I remember something we did 3 years ago online, but not what it was or how we figured this out. I could see that. I like it's weird. I like Portugal, and I've never been to Portugal, so I can't really say that I like Portugal. But my sister went to Portugal. She was at Lisbon, and she said that it was very cozy, like a very cozy sort of culture. Oh God, I'm still reeling. Like, I don't know why I do it to myself. I don't know why, because I care about clothes. Like, I do like fashion, but every time I like watch these like trends, I'm always like disappointed because like it doesn't match up with like my aesthetic. Carlos, are you in Portugal? Or are you Portuguese? Mrs. Mom says I've been a few times and over the Azores. It is steamy, hot, and tropical and gorgeous. I'm surprised. Cool, Carlos Paiva. It is very SI. It makes me think of SI when my sister was describing Portugal, it definitely makes me think of SI. You're having body empathy with me and you yawn. That's funny. Jeremiah Fix. Sí, está. Is it muggy in Portugal? Or I guess Portugal's very long, right? It's not very big. It's not very wide, but it's long. Oh my god. I'm still like shocked. Yeah, muggy. Yeah, muggy. What do they say? There's humidity, high humidity. Is there high humidity in Portugal? You know what? I don't usually yawn this much, but mushrooms makes me yawn. Oh, it's dry, Carlos says. Wow. South Portugal is one of the driest places in Europe. Rest is fine, says Carlos Paiva. I'm sorry if I am mispronouncing your last name. I'm not very good. I'd like to visit Portugal. Portugal is definitely on my list of places to visit. God, ugh. I just can't stop yawning. Carlos says the climate here is very mild most of the time, a bit too hot in the summer only. That's nice. That's nice. Mild weather is very pleasant. It Carlos says makes it comfy to live here. I believe that. I feel like in some ways I feel like I'm in denial that Janet Ho like list that like her offer was so low on the house. Like I am in denial. I'm in denial because I was sort of grieving for a while because I was so, I told Eric, I felt deflated because I we were hearing from her Dean and Janet that the house is gonna sell, it's not gonna be a problem at all. And then she has one or two showings and she sits Eric down and says,
It's like the wind from inside blows it away. So that you have to, oh my god, it's like a
no freaking way!
magically trying to fall off. You're at like trying to fall on there. Now, I have no way of verifying, but I bet you if we were to look outside, it would be on the ground.
I think you're right.
It's impressive, but ability to fall off and apparent determination to fall off. It's like, the worst thing at doing his job is Janet.
I was just talking about Janet, how I feel like I'm in denial. Like, I can't believe that.
Well, I was thinking outside, and I'm glad because I've got lots of cognitive function explaining to do. Of course.
Good.
But most of all, aren't you impressed? I remember to bring my jacket.
Yes!
I am so impressed
I'm
with
so
myself.
impressed with yourself too.
I thought, there's no way you're gonna actually remember to bring the jacket. But since I talked about it so much ahead of time, I almost got out of the car with that. But since I talked about how I was going to get my jacket and prove myself wrong, because I love doing that too, you know, like, as soon as I set a rule that's for sure, I immediately find counterexamples. So anyway, that wasn't what I was talking about. First thing I want to talk about, I was like walking out the hallway struggling. I gotta remember to talk about these things you keep forgetting to talk about. Everything's hard on mushrooms. Even remembering what I'm trying to talk about.
That's so funny. I just had the same. Yeah.
Everything's hard.
Thinking. I was saying that thinking from you is hard.
Like, well, the only thing that's not hard for me is like any TI shit. I can do that till the thing. So what I was gonna explain about cognitive functions is just as stressful as always. However, as always, who in the world thinks that because their room is cold, that you should turn up the heater to 80 degrees? I'm too cold right now. Therefore, I want to be too hot.
Well, I took it as you were testing.
Yeah, some of that was. But regardless, like, in this instance, is not a very good example. But yet, somehow, some way, once again, Eric does the same thing. We're too cold. Now we're too hot. I do it every time. I cannot seem to figure out how heaters work. Even though I know how they work, and I know from experience, once again, Eric, remember, don't do it this time. Don't turn it up to 76 degrees or whatever. I do it every time. Ah, everything's so hard. Okay, these things I want to talk about. The quick thing. So the U.S. military, some military, I'm bad at telling them apart, so I just say the U.S. military. Okay, that way I'm safe, and I haven't misidentified Air Force people as Army men or whatever, you know.
I'm not gonna tell them.
I just say the U.S. military thing. You can ask me questions about what kind I think they might be. I think they're Army because they have camouflage outfits on. But I'm just speculating. I don't know anything about Army people, Air Force people, and their various outfits. So I don't know. Maybe Marines also wear that same outfit. You know, they probably also wear camouflage.
They do. Yeah, they do. Mm.
So, I mean, anyway.
How can you tell them?
I can't. I don't know. I don't take the chance. I just say. I just refer to them as the U.S. military. That way, I don't have to know that part of stuff that's too hard for me to learn and I don't care about. Anyway. Like, first of all, let me just say this. I bet the last thing any military person in uniform currently wants to hear, the very last thing they want to hear, the reason my dad stopped taking off his hat that he liked so much, which was about which battleship he was on in Korea, or cruiser. I haven't been bad at distinguishing between kinds of boats too, so I don't know what kind of boat. I think it was a cruiser. He had to take it off, stop wearing it because the very last thing any military person wants to hear, I guarantee you, they're walking around there, please do not tell me this. Is for someone to go up to them and say, thank you for your service. That's like the absolute last thing that any military person wants to hear. Because, of course, it's just a repetition of something they've heard a million times before. And also, it requires some positive response.
Yeah.
Even though the last thing they want to be is bothered by you saying that. So, anybody with any intuition knows that you will never say that to them. Whatever else you do, you're not going to say that. I came up with the best thing to say to them when you happen to be in the elevator with them, right? Because I'm not going to go bother them when they're doing their thing, whatever it is, like trying to talk to them. They're like Mexicans, all right? Don't bother Mexicans because they're doing actual work, right? Unlike everybody, unlike white people who are just doing the things that white people call work are not work, okay? I get there's work in the sense that you have to go somewhere and do something you don't like for the rest of the time. But that's not really, that's just called the unfortunate reality of having to be useful to somebody else. Real work is what Mexicans do. That's why you don't bother or fuck with Mexicans at all, because they're busy doing all the real work. Similarly, I had a point here. Where were they going with this? Who's like Mexicans? Oh, the U.S. military, right. The U.S. military is similar to like Mexicans. Whatever it is they're doing is probably pointless, okay? I don't know what they're doing. They're probably have some sort of conference or whatever. But don't bother them. And this is what happened to me in the elevator. I'm going down to the ground floor. And the door's open. In walks a U.S. military person. Out walks Eric. I said, wait a second. This isn't my ground floor. I'm bad at a lot of things. I'm shockingly bad at it, but even I can tell this is not the ground floor. And the very polite U.S. military person told the door for me. No, I'm sorry, sir, this is the mezzanine. Calling me sir the whole time. So that's what U.S. military people in uniform do. That's what they're told to do, you know?
Yep.
So I said, I had already said to him as I was walking out, the ideal thing to say to the U.S. military person, if you happen to encounter him in that fashion, you want to say something, which is, great job kicking ass. Now, that's a good thing to say to them. If you happen to encounter them like I did, right? It's true. It's what you should say. I don't have any reason to thank you. You didn't give me anything. It's like Caleb Williams is kind of a personal hero of mine. He's amazing. He's trying to carry that USC team, and he's being betrayed time and again by our shitty defense. And I still wouldn't thank him for his service. I would just say, great job kicking ass. You're the best, man. You're the coolest. You're so cool, I want to be seen eating a meal with you. You're so cool, I want to eat with you and have you talk. Well, I'm not going to thank him. He didn't give me anything. It doesn't make any sense at all to thank him. It just does make sense a lot to compliment him for what a kick-ass job he's doing. But he's not doing it for me. Like, I will thank Dean because he's working for me and doing a great job. I will thank David because he's working for me and doing a great job. Caleb Williams, did I get his name right this time? Yeah, the problem is there's a receiver like student Mario Williams. So it's easy for me to get this confused. Williams to Williams. Who cares what their first names are until you try to remember them. Alright.
You did say Caleb Williams.
Yeah. For some reason his name's hard for me to remember because it's such an ordinary last name. And it's not a particularly unordinary first name.
No.
But it's also not a normal first name. His story's really interesting. You know, he had tiger parents, but he's an ENFJ. ENFJs eat that shit up. SE is their thirst law of absolute value. FB is their dominant function. They love making other people happy. If their parents be a situation where I get to make you happy by achieving, fantastic. It wouldn't work at all on me. But those would be the wrong parents for Eric, but they were the right parents for Caleb Williams. The other reason maybe I get hard to remember his name is because of Serena Williams, who had similar parents. You know, or at least a dad. It's funny, you never hear about Serena and what's her sister's name? Venus. You never hear about their mom.
Their mom, yeah, never do.
I never hear a word about her. It's like the father made himself pregnant, carried both girls to term, pooped them out, I guess, and raised them all by himself in his strange, fanatical, you will be tennis players form parenting. Who could think that's a form of parenting? How do you parent? You will be tennis players. Oh, that's how you parent? You will be tennis players. I didn't even ask a question and that means you will be tennis players. Okay. See you later, Mr. Williams. So I guess it must be a Williams thing. You know, it's like that guy's name was Williams, and he said, "You will be tennis players." And Caleb Williams' parents were like, "You will be fantastic at something. We'll figure out what it is." Exactly. We're not sure yet as quarterback. We're pretty sure, okay? We're going to do all that kind of shit to make you good at football. We're not 100% sure the position's yet quarterback until later on, but it's definitely some kind of football player. Okay. You will be. So this is T.I. Tool. This story is so much better if Caleb Williams is, you will be quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I can't tell that story because that's not what it actually happened, right? It's like, what actually happened, they did a bunch of general football training stuff for him. Probably hoping he'd be quarterback, but being okay with him being, say, a phenomenal wide receiver until they did a lot of football quarterback drills too. So when they found out he was good at quarterback, well, they threw the idea of running back right out the window, of course, because yes, he could be a phenomenal running back, but running backs have a miserable job. They have one of the worst jobs in football, even worse than linemen, I think, because they have to get, I'm obsessing over theology too much. Anybody gets a bit stale eventually if you listen to you pay that much attention to them as you do me. You watch every one of my streams. Of course it's gonna get a bit stale for you, but it's not because I'm obsessing over my theology. It's because I'm not that interesting. I mean, I'm pretty damn interesting, but I'm not that interesting. I'm not as interesting as the amount of me that you watch. You and Rachel seem to have the same disease. It's called really thinking Eric's interesting. Like, really, really thinking it. Like, not just pretending. Like, Rachel could fool me all the time, I'm sure. But she never tries. Because she's very good about being selfish about what she likes and doesn't like to watch or hear or whatever, you know. She is an intelligent person who doesn't like to listen to bad jokes, bad music, watch bad TV shows, or read bad books, or any of those other kind of things, right? Like any sane person would be normally. If the world were sane, everybody would be like Rachel. I don't want to listen to bad music. And I don't want to watch bad TV shows. And I don't want to look at bad art. And I don't want to watch bad plays. And most of all, I don't want to listen to non-hilarious jokes.
Oh. Oh.
So the thing is, Rachel doesn't have to do anything. Her taste is impeccable.
Thanks.
If she didn't laugh at my joke, it's because it wasn't funny. I can trust her.
Thanks.
I can't even trust Corey to listen to anything I say. Which reminds me of the other thing I want to talk about, which is the hilarity and obviousness of TE polar. Okay? FE tool means you, and TI third means when you're asking questions, you don't want anything but answers to your exact questions you were asking. You don't want solutions for sure. You definitely don't want solutions. Okay? This was hilariously proved when Corey called me to ask me how to get to my house. And I said, the way to get to my house is to type my address into your phone and listen to what it says. But that's not the question he asked. He did not ask me for a solution to get to my house. He asked me how to get to my house and wanted this kind of answer. When you make a right turn on this street, go straight through the stop sign, keep going, you're going to get to a Y in the road, you're going to make the left Y, and then you're going to make the first right turn. He wanted that. So I gave him that. I said, well, this is, and his justification for why was because he didn't have Google Maps on his phone. Even though you don't need any special app on your phone. You just type in my address, your phone will say, do you want directions there? And it'll just find some app on your phone that'll direct you there. Or it'll find something online that'll direct you there. He was so determined that he did not want answers to questions he did not ask, that as he and his wife were driving to my house, they were coming from a different direction than he had originally anticipated when he asked the question. So he called me and said, how do you get to your house from here? And I said, well, again, Corey, you should probably put my address into your phone. But that's not the question you asked. And so I will answer the question you asked. The answer is, the way to describe how to get to my house from where you are is much too difficult to describe. It involves too many twists and turns. The only easy way to get to my house is the way I already told you. This time, fortunately, his wife is in the car. Okay, he's got 4 slot TE, and this is indicative of what an INFP relationship is like. Corey said, well, okay, we're just going to have to drive down to the description you told me that I do understand is, and we'll go to get to your house that way. I am again saying, again, Corey, probably a better way would be to put my address into your phone. But that's not the question he asked, and he has a PhD in not listening to Eric. So finally Liz grabbed the phone from him and said, tell me your address, and put it in the phone and got to our house that way. Now can you imagine how frustrating this must be for Liz? Meanwhile, I'm just finding it funny because of all of the people involved, I'm the only one who understands what's happening. And of course, I'm the only one that no one will listen to. And not just will they not listen, I give Liz credit. Liz is capable of listening. Liz asks questions. She just doesn't like my answers. She listens to them. She responds on point. She just doesn't like my answers and the fact that I keep telling her I'm correct. I get that second part completely. Like, you don't want me to both be right and arrogant about it. I totally get that second part. The first part's a little confusing to me. But I understand it as a function thing. Like, for most people, what they want to be true is more important than what is true. For the vast majority of people. And they have a lot of trouble accepting what is true when they don't want it to be. Like, even the most horrible truth in the world, I'll try to avoid it for a little while maybe, but I mean, all you have to do is be right to convince me. Like, Rachel was right a long time ago about whippets being bad for her and causing, what's that disease called again? Neuropathy. I see, I'm so bad at everything on mushrooms again. I don't even remember what things are called. That was all time mushrooms. Like, what's that thing when you go to the bathroom and call? Call the toilet, Eric.
I know, I was having the same thing.
That's just a mushroom thing. It's like, because we're intuitive, it's maximizing the fact that we want everything in life to be as low res as possible.
Oh yeah.
I got explanation about your mistaking hilariously dominoes for dice.
Oh my god.
It sounds so dumb, but it's actually so smart.
Oh my god, it's
All right?
so dumb.
No, Rachel, it is so smart. That's the best way to classify information. They're both ivory things with dots on them. Right?
Yeah.
And TE polar means you just don't even think about
Yes.
about the actual sensory data about it. Like,
no.
who cares if you're talking about dice and dominoes? The information, the least useful information to retain about those things is what physical motion
It's just
you make
so
with
funny
them,
because
you know?
was
It's totally useless information, especially unless you like those games and want to play them, which you don't.
I don't.
So the smartest thing in the world is to classify both those things as the same kind of thing, retain zero information about their physicalities, and make that mistake. And it sounds so hilariously stupid, is what the beautiful irony of everything is. Alright? And I sound so smart, and I am the absolute single most retarded person in the world at everything. It's crazy. I can't even blow snot out of my own pod correctly without it somehow magically ending up inside the pod.
Oh my god!
I can't even keep the door hanger on the
I
door
don't understand
to
that.
tell them to not house clean when I'm trying my hardest.
I know. Oh.
And this is why this is the trade-off. If you want to be this smart, you've also got to be so retarded. Unbelievable. So retarded, it doesn't occur to you to move a table closer to you. So retarded, when you can't fit a stick in a oh God. It's like the battle I had with this one stick that wouldn't fit in the trash can. I don't even want to recount it because it was such a, I thought this stick was going to win for quite a while. But I'm proud to say, I won. I managed to break that stick in 2 pieces without any tools, of course, because there's absolutely nothing that anybody could ever use for any possible conceivable purpose inside of our house. It's like, I'm surprised the towels, the one towel that the stagers put there, I'm surprised it doesn't get us wetter. That's how useless everything is. There's a tissues box that's supposed to cover up those square tissue boxes. I get the TE reason. You don't want your tissue box to move when you pull it out. So that's okay. If it were just an FE reason, like you don't like the look of your square tissue box, then you are an ESFJ. Okay, because seriously, who the fuck cares? Well, because it's got a good TE reason, but you want something heavier than the tissue box, that's fine then. Therefore, it's fine, even if your reasons for it. But if the reason you have it, even though that's a good reason to have it, is not that reason, then you are an ESFJ. Especially since you bought a tissues box that says tissue on it. Even though
there are no tissues in
even though it makes such a modest claim, it could tell me the truth and have only one
There
tissue.
you go, yeah.
But it refuses. It has 0 tissue.
Oh my gosh.
After going to all that trouble to narrowing your ground you have to defend, right? Like, it did not overpromise.
Yeah.
And yet, magically, somehow, it's still underdelivered. It only promised one tissue. And it couldn't even do that. But hair helmet. Disgust.
Oh my gosh, these are so funny.
Sometimes Cameron's hilarious.
Yeah.
Cameron, I want to make clear that when I sometimes talk about ISTJs, blah, 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 I'm not talking about you. You're specialized TJ, okay? You don't even, you get a special treatment, which is this. Normally, people, the solution to their problems is they need to listen to me. You are the opposite. You need to not listen to me for some reason. I guess because you're an ISTJ is the reason. And don't listen to me. You're different than everybody else. I need to listen to you because you are always right about the kind of things that I'm terrible at. Cameron, I claim to have put those square things, cut them and put them up in those rectangle things. You remember those horrible things. They don't even have a name. That's how horrible they are. What do you call those things in a kitchen between you and the raw fluorescent light bulbs? I bet Cameron knows what they're called. You know, it's like, with Cameron, it's constantly like this. I should have asked Cameron before I did this. That would have been smart. Of course, Cameron's not an ESTJ, so it's like if you're an ESTJ, your Cameron's kind of smart, but without any intuition at all. Okay, so you are constantly telling other people what to do if you're an ESTJ. ISTJs aren't like that. They've got A-slot NI, and Cameron's got remarkably good FE for fucking polar. That's the power of SITE, right? I mean, sometimes he can be crazy wrong. He interprets like me yawning as it's time for him to go, which is probably me yawning as I've eaten a bunch of mushrooms and they make me yawn.
Yeah, that same they make me yawn too.
And that has absolutely nothing to do with you and whether I'm bored with you. Like today he was telling me a story in the car. That was just today, huh?
No, yesterday.
I'm pretty sure it was today. I mean, look, you may have woken up at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but even though I should have, I didn't. Because I'm too stressed out and tense about all this real estate stuff, right? So, but what I did instead was I did the smartest thing I'd done in a while, which is I called Cameron and I said, he answered like on the, before I even heard the first ring. Hey, what's up? And I'm like, I don't know, I want to go do some camera stuff. I don't even remember what I said, you know. I want to go outside, basically, is what I wanted. And I didn't want you to go because I didn't want you to slow me down. I wanted me and Cameron to do gnarly stuff. And he's like, fuck yeah, let's go right now. Not only that, I said, but I have one problem, Cameron. I have these great boots, but because I'm the world's most retarded person in history, they're in the garage, and the real estate agent is showing the house all day. And it's like, I get it. If anybody sees me walking out, I'm here with my boots! It's gonna cost us like tens of thousands of dollars, probably. Like, that guy? It can't possibly be that guy who owns this house. Wants to be like all super on guard. I have my boots! It's raining! I forgot about that.
That's what it was yesterday. It was yesterday that you did that.
Okay, well, the thing is, if I had money to bet on this subject, I would bet on you. But I am at least as convinced as you that I am right, that it was today.
No, because, no.
I'm sure you're correct. Like I said, if I had money to bet, I'd bet on you, not on me, for sure.
I
mean, if I could find a bookie to take this weird bet, I would bet on you. Even though I'm absolutely sure it was today.
no, because...
Cameron, well, you know, this is why I'm so retarded. Cameron, did we go hiking today or yesterday? It was remarkably quick how quickly we met up, drove all the way to Mount Wilson. We didn't go to actually Mount Wilson, it was Cold County. We hiked way up high, such that my legs were... It was yesterday? I do not know how that happened. How could it possibly have been yesterday? It was so shortly today.
Because...
Why are you sad?
Because...
Because you were right? And because I'm wrong? This is the craziness of INFJs, right? They know about everyone, everything, all the time, and they don't know. They could not know any less about themselves. Isn't that funny? That's the trade-off you gotta make. Just like to be the smartest guy in the world that always does all these right things. The trade-off I gotta make is nobody's gonna listen to me because I'm constantly telling them things they don't want to hear. The trade-off you gotta make for constantly being right about everything is that you know so little about yourself that for some reason being correct is making you cry. Because you think it's mean to me somehow.
Like,
Or I probably misinterpreted you. Correct me, as you always do. This is why I love you so much. Because you're the only person I trust to correct me.
I guess I was like a little. I don't know.
Well, of course you don't. Right? Why would I even ask? How foolish of me to ask. The one thing is, never bother even trying to ask an INFJ why they're sad, why they're crying,
Well,
why.
I was like a little sad because like.
Because why? Tell me the truth.
Because like. Oh.
Just tell me the truth, please.
Like,
'Cause
I was a
you-
little sad that you said that like I don't wake up until like 1 and
Oh,
then,
that's what you're crying about? I'm proud of you for that. I'm not trying to make shame you. Usually you've forgotten who you're dealing with here. I'm proud of how lazy and entitled we are. I'm proud of you for that.
I misinterpreted it and then I was like,
Well, because you can't believe anybody could possibly be proud of what I'm proud of.
I'm glad you're proud of it. I don't.
The reason I'm proud of it is because I like it. And my TI is only instrumental. I don't really give a fuck about what's fair. I know I like this. I know I don't like giving money to other people. I know
Thanks,
I do like Rachel being protected from knowing how much that lobster cost until after she ate it. I like that, right? Because that would have messed with your experience eating it. I wouldn't want you to have a negative experience eating lobster just because it costs, for some reason, $90. I mean, it's ridiculous how expensive that was.
Wow, I am so
No,
sorry.
but you are not getting the point again.
I know, you're right. You're right.
I had to protect you from enjoying your lobster less.
Yes. Yes. Because it is true.
Which is why I'm constantly singing to you, Martha, my dear. Silly girl, take a good look around you. Take a good look and see what's meant to be for each other. Silly girl. Yeah. Take a piece of what is all around you, silly girl. And remember remember how selfish I am, right? And like how I don't care about what's fair. If I love you, I don't care about what's fair at all. I didn't love Janet. She didn't deserve that, probably. But I don't care about what's fair. I want what I want all the time.
You're right, though. I mean,
No, I'm wrong for not feeling bad about it. Here's the good news. I don't get to decide how I feel. Isn't that wonderful? I can't possibly be responsible for how I feel or don't feel because nobody gets to decide that.
No.
Isn't that fun? That's the beautiful thing about arbitrary FI. All feelings are valid, including my fucked up feelings, or lack thereof. Take that, FI. Right?
Seriously.
Take that, FI. You
Talk
talk about karma overdue. Take that, FI. I don't give a fuck about you or anybody else. I care a lot about her. She's one of my very favorite things in the world. She's the only person I trust to correct me. For some reason it makes her cry, but that was irrelevant, right? You were crying over what again?
Because like I thought you were making fun of me
For sleeping like I was proud of you. I was praising you. I was saying, great job. Any sane person would have stayed in bed until whatever because this whole process fucking sucks all kinds of ass.
Yeah, and
But unfortunately for me, because I'm SI type, I've got to constantly go over and over and over and over again in my head all the time. And so, it's like, whatever. Just what you got to deal with. It's price of doing business, It's like, if you want to be this privileged, you can't really complain that much about when shit's unpleasant, in that way, I'm fair, right? Well, even then, I'm not fair. It's just that God like scolded me a few times recently, so I have to be more fair. Yeah.
What does God scold you about?
Not complaining so much. Remember how he scolded us when we were watching Monday Night Football?
That was so sad.
And how I immediately prayed for forgiveness and resolved to try at least to do a better job of not complaining. Even though it's like I get it, God, completely. And I also want to point out that you made me so good at complaining. But that you're God, you're right. I'm not saying, I'm not trying to rebut you or anything. I guess this is just your way of making me grow up, Yeah, I made you super good at complaining. That doesn't mean you should complain about everything. Good point, God. You always win all the arguments with me. Even I'm not as good at debating as God. In fact, I have a 0% chance of beating him ever. I have less of a chance of beating God at debate than I have of beating Liz at Connect 4. INFPs, right? INFPs. I also have never beaten her at chess. And the reason is, in part, we didn't play time chess, but actually I think we did, but she still kicked my ass. But the reason, in part, is, the thing is, INFPs and INFPs both. Could you be any less in a hurry?
She said that's her strategy, to take her time.
Why she thinks about all the different contingencies. The only time she likes TI is when is part of a game.
She does seem to enjoy games.
Yeah, she likes them a lot. And she's got her any tool going. And her unconscious TI is just like unconsciously gauging all the if he goes there, then I go there, then he go there, and I go there, blah, blah, blah. Or it's just like happening unconsciously. But it takes a long time. So you just sit there, look at the board for an hour. Meanwhile, I gave up on that process that she's unconsciously doing a long time ago. I was like, okay, well, if I move this guy there, and she's going to come down there possibly, but she could go over there too. In which case, you know what, never mind. This is too hard. I can't keep track of all those things. There's no way I'm going to be able to keep track of all of those things. I just feel fortunate that I remembered a couple of things I wanted to talk about. I'm pretty happy about. I remember a couple of them. One was Corey's TE Polar and his hilarious FE tool TI third. If a TI third person is asking you a question, they want an answer to that question. They don't want anything else at all. That's selfish TI, okay? If they asked you, what's the least easy way to get to your house? They want an answer to that question. They do not want an answer to the question, what's an easy way to get to my house? Right? They didn't ask that question. They asked, what's a non-easy way to get to your house?
Gosh, oh my gosh.
And that's the answer to the question that's the question they expect you to answer.
It's
right?
funny too because he was so.
The only answer he accepted was, it's too hard for me to explain it to you.
Yeah.
That way. I'm not good enough. It was an answer he would accept.
Yeah, he would have probably.
He did. He did accept it. Except his wife grabbed his phone out of his hand and said, just give me your hand for fuck's sake. He was going to drive all the way around to go to the way I could. I was capable of explaining to him. Well, Eric, I know you suck, but I guess your first explanation was adequate. I'll just have to drive around there. I get the fact that you suck too much to explain to me how to get to your house from here. I have so little expectations of you anyway, so.
That's not it.
No, actually,
It's
the truth is,
tea.
but the truth is, the whole thing about Corey is he's insanely jealous, and he doesn't want to hear anything at all that suggests that,
Anything.
yeah, that reminds him of how jealous he is.
Damn, I know, it's so sad. It's so.
It is so sad, and it's why we didn't see him for a whole year, and we probably won't see him again for a very long time.
Damn.
Except the only reason we're gonna possibly see him sooner is that the same reason as always.
He left something
No. Eric likes drugs.
Oh. He hasn't.
Well, most importantly, I'm not gonna ask Corey for drugs because he hates giving me drugs for some reason. Even though that's the only thing I want. I'm willing to tell him what genius he is. I'm willing to have him not listen to me at all. I'm willing for all those things. I feel bad because he's been damaged by this horrible typological relationship, let alone forget everything else. You know, poor INFP having to continually grab the phone from him and do things intelligently, right? Rather than me, when you do things dumb, I say, ha 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 ha, that's so hilarious. Your TE poll are so bad, it's even worse than my TE. Let me do that for you.
Yeah. Right.
That's a good typological relationship, right?
Yeah.
Theirs is typologically that's gonna happen all the time. And the worst thing about it is Liz's poor conflict between her dominant and her third absolute values constantly. And it just keeps growing worse and worse and worse. She's not happy, but she has all this time invested into this relationship, which is her absolute value as well. Her absolute values are in constant conflict all the time, that poor woman. And because FI is inherently unreliable, she thinks it's okay to say, I hate him, and then I love him, in back-to-back sentences, and that means since FI is so unreliable, that, yeah, I mean, you can't make decisions based on my feelings. As she explained to me, well, I already know you can't make decisions based on your feelings. That I know very, very, very well. What I do know is this: it's a bad decision to stay in a relationship with someone you hate.
Yeah.
But if you're an INFP, it might not be, because her SI is your absolute value. And even though it's all been miserable, that's your story. Those are your memories, your precious memories. You keep repeating and reliving the good ones selectively and ignoring the bad ones selectively, because you've got two subjective epistemology functions as your only conscious ways to know things. They're both absolute values, and they're in constant conflict with each other in this relationship. What a nightmare. Good thing of being bipolar is like, well, I'm glad that's not my problem. As I explained to Liz, I don't give a fuck what you do. I'm just telling you what's correct. What's correct is you guys are terrible together. It's not his fault. It's not your fault.
Right.
It's the fact that you're in a terrible relationship.
Yeah.
That's what's correct. I don't give a fuck what you do. Doing it's just for losers. That's one of my favorite new sayings. Doing stuff's for losers.
Yeah.
I don't believe in doing stuff. Let's just
Makes me like.
get rid of doing stuff. I don't like it. It's just, doing stuff is just like that bullshit I gotta deal with so I can relax. That's how it feels like to me. Seems like 95% of it is that.
Is doing things. Yeah.
The only good thing I've done lately, it seems like, is go hiking with Cameron. That was spectacular.
I hope that.
And no, Rachel. Will you get it through your head that I'm the lucky one, not you? That in this relationship, I am the lucky person who's somehow scored you, okay? You are not the lucky person here to be with Eric. Just will you get that through your head finally? How much I love you, how much I consider you, unlike the Pope, more or less infallible? How I could not even conceive of living one moment without you? Will you get that through your head and stop crying about how you've somehow been inadequate to me? I mean, Could you be any more perfect? It's like, Jesus Christ, woman, I love you so much, and you're worried about me being mad at you about something dumb, right?
Yeah.
I don't want you to be Cameron. The fact that you're not just yourself, but also Cameron, is not a problem I have, right? It's a problem you have not knowing who you are at all. And not getting how perfect and unbelievable a person you are at all for some reason. Well, because you're an INFJ. You're always worried about everything else in the world. But you couldn't know anything less about yourself.
Yeah, that's why I tested so poorly on self-evaluated.
Right, sure. Because your GI third is all selfish and wanting to be, everything to be meant exactly as it says, and yeah, it's like, this is why you're a smart INFJ. You're a quiet INFJ. Dumb INFJs try to explain why they're right.
Yeah, it's not.
And their explanations are fucking terrible.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing that Corey ever explained to me made any sense was aesthetic stuff.
Yeah,
Aesthetics, like he explained to me why those melodies that sound familiar to you, but weren't written, but you can't identify exactly what it was, but it sounds familiar. The ones you keep throwing away, those are the good ones.
Yeah.
Now he was great at explaining things like that to me.
Yeah.
But have you ever seen anybody in the history of the world who has less knowledge about himself than Corey? I mean, the thing is, the good news is your intuition about Corey is not about you. So it's spot on. Now, if you were to use that same intuition on yourself, well, this is why you're crying, because what was it you did wrong again? I can't even remember what you think you did wrong. She's crying
So
because
stupid. I know, because
get this why she's crying. She's crying in part. This is one thing that makes Rachel cry. That we have to pick up packages from our house that's 5 minutes away. Okay? And we have to go there twice a day to feed the cats anyway. But oh my God, the torture this woman puts herself through before she'll tell me we need to go pick up a package is insane. Just, it's like, you're the boss, Rachel. Will you get this through your head? Just tell me. Say, Eric, go pick up this package for me right now and bring it back. And I would be glad to do it. I'd be like, of course I will, my darling. I'm sorry something irritated you. It's my job to make sure that never happens. Well, of course, you'll never do that.
No, yeah. I feel like, like, oh no, I'm not
Why are
even
you
going
talking
to,
about
I
your
don't,
feelings?
it's
Why
so
are you
stupid.
talking about them? When you guys try to talk about your feelings, watching INFJ talk about their own feelings is like watching me talk about architecture.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, sometimes things are square. I guess you could make the buildings round too. I'm not really sure how architecture works, but
oh my goodness. Oh my God. Like, fucking F.I.
you want to talk about TE Polar.
I'm not on the screen and I'm letting it be that way. Yeah.
You could just, I'm surprised you didn't move, right?
Oh my God. Hi, everyone.
And TE6 is great because I just laugh and go, oh, you pulled an Eric.
Yeah, it really does work out well. I mean...
Oh, you pulled another Eric, I see.
God.
Well,
Fuck, yeah.
Only somebody as bad at tea as you can make me think my tea is any good.
I cannot believe, like,
Every tool is calling your friend, ask for directions to his house.
yeah.
I'm going to default to talking to people about things every time.
It makes my heart sink that he's jealous of you. It makes my heart sink.
Oh, right. Well, I'm sorry you have to care so much about feelings.
No, I just, you know.
You know how emotions make me.
And you know how they make me.
Yeah. Emotions make me, like, not give a fuck about anything.
Yeah.
And emotions make you give a fuck about everything.
Yeah, because, like,
And I'm so dumb, I'm going to suggest to you eat more of them. That's it.
Whatever.
I never learned anything. I don't think you're in a bad trip.
No, I'm not. I'm really not. I'm very quiet.
I don't view your crying as a problem at all.
Okay, good.
But I bet you do.
Of course I do.
Uh-huh. So that's the only problem I have with you crying is that I bet you view it as a problem.
It's so dumb.
I cry all the time about all kinds of stupid shit. If I don't have my blanket, my preferred blanket, I am bursting into tears, you know. I gotta go outside and smoke a cigarette because if I don't, I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry, I'm going to stamp my feet, I'm going to throw a little tantrum. I'm going to yell at people until I fix my cigarette. That's why I love Tiffany. Tiffany's right about that.
She is. She's bold. Tiffany's
completely right. If your only frame of reference is getting what you want.
Yeah. It's so true. And
I don't care about the house, I will have it now.
yes.
You know,
Everyone can learn a little bit from Tiffany, I
everybody
think.
can learn something from Tiffany. Intuitives most of all.
Yeah, intuitive.
Oh my God.
No way.
I just waited, I forgot I had this incredible challenge ahead of me. And I tried to close the door without this thing falling. And carefully close the door. And this thing might fail.
The information that
I knew it was a bad idea, but I had to open the door again.
Uh-huh.
Tell you, I did it.
you did.
Now
Okay, now you have to continue doing it.
Now I have to do it again.
Oh my gosh. The information about like Corey not seeing Eric for a year.
Of course, I'm back again. Because I forgot that outside is cold.
Oh yeah, you got your glass. You got your jacket.
I'm so proud of myself for bringing this jacket from the car. I can't even. Like, wow, you really did a great job there. And you know what else you did a great job of? Remembering the outside was cold before you even got out of the elevator. I'm so proud of you. You did a great job. I'm shocked I remembered this before. I was standing outside lighting a cigarette I'm wishing
Oh my god.
I had this jacket.
Jacket.
That's
No.
normally how things go.
So you did one step more than.
I did!
Yes, you did.
I don't know all the presents
You did.
because I did it. You notice when Tiffany has a game show, everybody else, even though they're all right or wrong, and even though she keeps telling them you're gonna win fabulous prizes, she never says what they are, and there are no prizes. That's the Tiffany way. Yeah, that's Johnny Depp. Oh.
What did she call him?
I forget that. Oh, that's Clayton Kershaw. No. That's Paula Heinrich. I don't like him at all. Hi. Play Paula Heinrich. Y'all die.
I love it. I love it when she says you stink.
There are a lot of Italian in this town. God thank for him. They put Eric in charge of sending it. Oh. I remember what I did. I'm getting that jacket that I got over there.
Don't you need a key?
I need a key. Yes, I got this now, thanks to you for remembering.
You're
This is
welcome.
why you are my hero. I didn't, interestingly, of course, I didn't actually thank you. I said, I have this thanks to you, right? And you said, of course, you're welcome. But that was wrong. Because I didn't actually thank you for it. I should have. That was wrong of me. Let's try this again. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You did a fabulous job this time, Rachel. I was so deeply ashamed of you last time. This is how little Rachel knows about herself. I can't even make jokes like that without going like, what did you wrong? What did you wrong?
It's so true.
You did nothing
damn
wrong.
it.
You do everything right.
Oh my god. At least you're not annoyed by that. Like so many people are
So
so
many people.
annoyed. But too many people.
Oh, people don't get irises, including
true.
themselves. That's for sure. But Eric's not one of them, fortunately for you and me.
Yes.
And that's why we're a perfect couple, yeah.
Yeah.
If only you would love yourself a bit as much as I love you, then wouldn't we be near something true? And you not loving you. Most offensive about that is you're wrong.
I know. I know I am.
I'm not really sure I really care about his feelings, but I do care about the fact that you're wrong. Because you're super fantastic and to not love yourself, well, that's just stupid.
You're right, I know. So we got some astrology talking. So it's funny how like things pop up after you like say something. Like I was talking about the retrograde planets, and then on YouTube I got like a bunch of what do they call them? Suggestions. And astrologers were talking about the Mercury in retrograde, Mars in retrograde. Winston Moss says on Friday evening, a full moon occurs with the sun in Capricorn opposite moon in Cancer. Yep, that's the rule. Full moons equal opposite sign. So, and new moon equals same sign. So, full moon in Capricorn season equals Cancer moon. New moon in Capricorn season equals Capricorn moon. I feel like dancing, do mushrooms and dance around fire and forest. I could feel like that. I feel like that, Boba Fett. I used to be really afraid of fire. Like, for the longest time, even with smoking weed, I didn't know how to, and I think this is S-E-T-E, poor S-E and poor T-E. My midheaven is in Cancer too. Mrs. Mom, we have the same, ascendant, and I believe we have the same houses, like signs and houses. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, you're right. I knew a nurse who said that the rumor about hospitals being crazy on full moons, she agreed. She said that on full moons that they have more people coming in than usual times. So like the hospitals kind of prepare for it. So I don't have much fire in my chart. Fire is my third. I have a fire moon, and I have a fire moon. Yeah. So I don't have much fire in my chart. My chart is dominated by earth and water. And I believe that water is slightly more than earth actually. So it's interesting. God, like, man, there's so many topics that I want to talk about, but like the mushrooms are blocking my words from like getting through. It's crazy. My memory is just so shot. I have a Libra rising too. That's what I was saying. The house system, my house system is like your house system. So, what comes after Libra? Scorpio is in my second house. And I have a mid heaven in Cancer too. So that's fourth house, right? I used to study astrology a lot. Like I don't need to pay anyone for astrology information. I mean, there's always stuff to learn, right? But ugh. That's funny. I am deeply upset that Corey would not see Eric for a full year. What the heck is going on? See, this is Mercury in retrograde. What the... This is stuff that I don't deal with. This is stuff that, like, Eric deals with. Oh. I'm, like, totally at a loss. I can look at what you guys are saying. Is the stream done? No, it's still going, okay. I know press the X to get rid of it, but I don't know how to bring up the chat again, so Eric's gonna have to do that. I'm glad you guys are still here. I'm reading the chat. I don't know what I'm doing. I really should not be pressing buttons. So yeah, I'm like, I lost the chat, the screen for, it went blank for a second.
It's all your fault, Rachel.
Of course I feel that way.
And I hope you're currently hating yourself about it.
Oh God, at least you know me better than I know myself.
Yeah. I'm glad you know a little about yourself, because that way you can focus on the only feeling to do better. Mine. I will fix that problem.
Just like Delilah, like, I feel like Delilah always says that the only people who can make her cry was your